and we put it in the hook. There is a loop on each end. We can also put our handkerchief on there. Hello, welcome to WayPoint Survival. Today, we're gonna talk about the Hobo Belt. It's very versatile, has a lot of uses, and I think you're gonna like it. Stay tuned. As you know, the hobos of yesteryear were very resilient people. They had a lot of great ideas. As they always said, necessity is the mother of invention. And so they came up with many novel ways to repurpose just common items, from household goods to the kind of clothes that they wore, to make sure that they could survive. One thing was very important. You had to be able to carry everything, climbing on and off of trains and sometimes jumping out of them or catching them at speed. You couldn't afford to have a lot of heavy gear. And so they were very careful what they packed, and of course many of them didn't have a lot of money until they got paid, and then it didn't always last very long depending on who they were and what they enjoyed doing when they finally got some money. It's a well-known fact that the hobos would often sew extra pockets on the inside of their clothes, sometimes inside of their coats or jackets, to carry their extra gear. As a matter of fact, it was called streamlining, and I've done some videos on that, where they would streamline all of their gear to literally just be carried in the pockets on their body. It made it very easy to travel, gave a whole lot less options for someone to see and steal, because just as today, there were bums and tramps and thieves and ne'er-do-wells who were also riding the rails, some of them running from the law, and you just never knew who you're camping with that night at the hobo jungle. Even though they would watch out for it, try to be careful, and try to be a good judge of character, yet there were times when you would find yourself robbed. And there are many stories of that, unfortunately, from back in the day. So they were very careful to make sure and pack the things that they would need to carry it, to keep it close, and to protect it. Today, we're carrying the Hobo Roll, sometimes called the Hobo Balloon. And this was a very versatile way, very easy way to carry all of your gear, taken on and off very easily, and you could roll all of your stuff up inside. This goes way, way back, hundreds of years. It was very commonly seen, many of you know, in the Civil War and on up into the early decades of the 20th century, where men would literally go backpacking and camping, as well as the ladies, using nothing more than this type of a horseshoe pack or a horseshoe roll. There's different names for it. But in here, we have some great items, and we're going to show you how that works with the Hobo Belt. This is the Hobo Belt. At first glance, it doesn't seem to be that important. It looks just like an ordinary leather belt, and that's how it started out. But there are some unique features about this that make it incredibly useful, not only for the hobo community, but also today for our modern bushcraft and survival needs. Taking it off, you'll notice that it has a heavy brass buckle. We need something that is really strong and going to hold up well. You can get these pretty cheaply at a second-hand store. The second thing I want you to notice is that there have been holes punched all the way through the belt. There's also a very special feature to this belt that I will show you after we get done with the video, so make sure you stay tuned to the end. You're not going to want to miss this. Opening up the Hobo Roll, I do have a video on how to do this, and I'll make sure and put a link to it so you can watch that. How you tie this and how you attach the rope and all of that so your stuff doesn't fall out. This is a different pack than one I've used before, a slightly different set of gear. Now that we've got this open, you might be able to recognize that this is an M1910 shelter half. So we're going to open this up where you can see it, as well as the number of items that we have inside. Now I'm not going to go through the list of everything that's in here, just going to show you a few odds and ends of some things so you can get an idea of what the kit looks like. If you would like to see what this looks like all laid out and explanations of what's in here, I'll be glad to do that for you at a later video. Let me know in the comments. Once a hobo got to where he wanted to camp, he would take the belt and place it around a tree at about the right height, depending on how tall he was and what he was trying to do with it shelter-wise. And you would go ahead and put the buckle in there, but just temporarily. You don't want it to be really tight. And that's the reason for all of the holes all the way around. So even if it's a sapling, you can still cinch it down and get it relatively tight. The first thing that a hobo might put on his belt would be something like this. It's just a tin can. It's got a slot cut here and here, edges crimped and folded over so there's no more sharp edges, as well as on the inside so it doesn't catch your finger. This would be slid on to the belt like so. just like this, and held on like that. Now you want to make sure that this belt is loose on here at first, and there's a reason for that. Next, he would dig into the pack, and you would find some of these hobo hooks. These are just the end of wire hangers. The hanger part, after you cut off the rest of the wire to use for something else, a lot of times these just get discarded, but the hobos use these. These were very commonly known as well as commonly used. So they're very handy, and it's of course wire. You don't want to throw it away. Then you take your hobo hooks, and you come around. We're going to put one on this side right here, and then we're just going to work our way around, adding some others, skipping about every other hole here. These holes are 1 inch apart, and there you go. Now we have to tighten the belt. I'm going to pull it in until it gets a nice tight tension on it. It's like that, so that it doesn't slide up and down the tree. Take the rest of the belt, poke it through the retainer, let it hang down on the other side. Next, we take the shelter half, and we come over here, and we put the rope here into this hook, and we put it in the hook just like that. Once we get that in there, we want to go ahead and stretch this out and open it up. There is a loop on each end. Okay, that'll hold. And now the other side, stretch it out, and again put pressure away from it to hold it in place. Then we take the wool blanket, tuck it back up under here, and if you'll notice, we've got a little bit of overhang on each side. So as long as we stay tucked back under, we're going to stay relatively dry in the rain. Just like this. I'm sure you're all wondering what all of these hooks are for. Well, I'll show you. Here we have a small frying pan. We put it on like this, upside down, so that it doesn't catch any water at night, lays against the tree like that. Next, we have our toothbrush, and this would be for our shaving water as well as a place to store the toothbrush at night. We also have a very nice little razor kit with some extra blades. Handy travel size kit. This too fit down inside there. The tin cup can hang over here. We have a spoon with a hole drilled in it just for this purpose. After using it for eating, we can hang it up to dry. And then we have a small shaving mirror, and it can hang right here on this, just like that. We can also put our handkerchief on there. And you get this wonderful old handkerchief from Logsdon & Company. And I'll make sure and put a link down below. These are 100% cotton, period correct. And we can just hang it right here on the other hook. And there we go. Now it'll dry out after we've used it for our morning ablutions. Now, like I told you before, this belt has a very special feature, and we find it on the back side. There has been a small pouch sewed to the inside of this belt. It's very flexible, so it kind of bends with everything else. You don't even notice it's there. And of course, this would be important if there was ever a pat down when someone is trying to feel if you got anything in your pockets. You could keep this on you, and as long as they didn't look too close, they would never find it. But inside, there is a flap. And this flap opens up. It's held in by tension. And inside we have a few coins. There's about 75 cents in there. Some nickels, dimes, and an old quarter. And as long as you remember to put the belt on the right way to keep the flap on the upside, so in other words, it would go on like this. So you fasten the belt down, and then the secret compartment is right here. You could take this extra tag end here of the belt, tuck it under like that to keep it from flapping around, and that also provides a little extra security, and that little bump out right there won't be so noticeable. Now you could also carry some folding money in here. dollar bills, 5s, 10s, 20s, whatever you happen to have, or small gold coin, whatever you could get a hold of. And then that would be your hobo belt. Very useful. Again, unless someone looked really close, they could pat you down, they could find the stuff that's in your pockets, but they wouldn't necessarily find your money. And that would be something that you could use in an emergency, of course, to get a room to stay, buy some food, resupply, till you got your next job and got paid. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this little foray into the past as we look into the things that our hobo ancestors might have used and the things that they did use to make sure and survive and get from place to place to find that all-important next job. This is James Bender for WayPoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure and check out the links in the description box below, just under the More button. While you're down there, you'll also find the link where you can sign up for our WayPoint Survival digital class. This is where you can train in the safety and convenience of your own backyard, the top 20 skills that we consider to be the most important from our Phase 1 Survival and Bushcraft class. You'll also find the link for waypointsurvival.com where you can sign up to take in-person classes at our beautiful training facility here in Southern Ohio. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you next time.